This is your moment. Express yourself. Let your voice be heard. This is your moment. The time has come to share it with the world. This is your moment. Express yourself. Let your voice be heard. This is your moment. The time has come with the Latoya Show.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another exciting edition of This Is Your Moment. I'm your host, Latoya Foster, and here at This Is Your Moment, we are totally committed to bringing you dynamic individuals with compelling stories. And today is no exception to that rule. I am so honored and elated to chat it up with veteran radio personality, the mother of Black Music Month. She's worked with the who's who in sports and entertainment, from Rihanna to Michael Vick. I'm speaking of none other than Dyana Williams. Wait until you hear her story of finding her niche, trailblazing in radio, balancing a successful career, a high profile marriage, and raising three children. All that and more coming up next. Oh, and I can't forget why she encourages all of us to live out loud. That's important, especially in this day and time. Dyana Williams coming up next. Dyana, I cannot tell you how excited I am that you could join us here on This Is Your Moment. How are you?
I am relishing this moment with you,
Oh,
Latoya, and
my
your audience. It is a distinct pleasure, honor
Oh,
to
it
be
is
with you.
truly my honor, my honor. Deanna, you have done so much in the music industry. You've touched so many people. You have trailblazed. You have kicked down the doors and created opportunities. Talk about your career getting started. Did you have any idea that you would have such achievements in your lifetime, that you would do so much and touch so many prominent people?
Well, first of all praises to the Almighty, because
Amen.
I'm real clear on where the energy, the life force, the gift is
Amen.
coming from. That is the very beginning. And everything else that has happened to me stems from my relationship with our Creator.
Amen.
That's my belief. Been very blessed, continued to be so. When I was a teenager, very young, I would say 13, 14, I wanted to be an archaeologist. I have a
Oh,
very strong interest in antiquity, history, her story, what people did before us.
mhm.
I'm super fascinated by that. However, when I was 15, 16, I started studying flute with the great jazz musician Jimmy Heath from Philadelphia, who is no longer physically with us, but has left us an incredible body of work. He was an instructor at IS 201, which was the Jazz Mobile program founded by Dr. Billy Taylor.
Hmm.
And they offered free lessons to students and young people in the community. I grew up in West Harlem, and so I took advantage of these free classes. And I thought at the time that I wanted to be a jazz musician.
All right.
But Latoya, Miss Deanna got to college. I went to City College in the heart of West Harlem and discovered very rapidly that what I had was an affinity for music, but not a talent for it.
Okay.
So I changed my major to communications when I discovered we had a radio station, because the day I walked into that radio station, it was an immediate connection.
Mm.
Found my place, and I
Wow.
stayed in that place for the last 45 years.
Which is amazing, because I don't even see how that could be possible, that you could have been in anything for 45 years. That's looking at you, I just would never imagine that.
Actually, longer. I'm saying 45. Let's see, my oldest son will be 45.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's a little more than 45. He'll be 45 in October. So I've been doing radio since 1972. Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. So, and I think back, because we were just talking about your very good friend, Kathy Hughes, our very good friend, Kathy Hughes. And
Yeah.
I remember she said, oh, I knew from the time I was 8 that I wanted that microphone. And you aren't too far from that as well. Once you knew you were at home. You knew
Yeah,
you were at
it's a
home.
beautiful thing, Latoya, as I'm sure you know, because you're living in your purpose and your gift. when you recognize what you are here to do. Not everybody has that opportunity. Some people are just, waffling through life trying to, they try this, they try that.
Yeah.
But Kathy, yes, from the time that she was a little girl, she used to be in her bathroom with the toothbrush, pretending it was a microphone, and she had a little transistor radio listening to it.
I love it.
So yeah, she knew which is why she is who she is. She owns the largest Black-owned media company in the world.
Wow.
It's Kathy
Yes.
Hughes.
That's right.
She owns Radio One, TV One, Clio,
Yep.
Interactive One, and everything under the umbrella of Urban One. So very proud of her, inspired by her. I was telling you before we went on the air that I just spent 4 or 5 days with her down in DC, and I still marvel after all these years. I met her when I was 19.
Mhm.
I will be 68 in a few months.
Wow.
So I've known her a long time, and we've been best friends that long.
Wow.
And I'm an only child. She has siblings.
Yeah.
I don't. I have adopted. You know how we do sometimes.
That's right.
Play
That's
sister,
right.
play
That's
brother.
right. That's right.
My play sister. So we fight like play sisters do and brothers sometimes.
Right. Sister from another mother.
Yes, sister from another mother. And my mother calls her, Kathy, her favorite daughter.
Oh.
With the Latoya Foster Show.
Coming up next, we all have that moment when we know that this is that moment where something says click, when all the pieces come together. Well, Dyana Williams has quite the story of when she experienced that moment. Find out about that moment coming up next. You have had a hand in it over the decades. You've seen so much and you've touched so many people. Tell us, at what moment would you have said, that was my moment? That was it.
Well, I've had several, as you can imagine. As I said, I'm good and grown. I'm looking at 70 straight. It's hi 70. How are you? I know you're waiting for me. I pray I get to you. I've had several. One of them was when I met my ex, Kenny Gamble. He was so passionate and driven about community and Black folks and culture, and using the music to affect change in our communities.
Wow.
One of our very first dates, he drove me around South Philly, the community that he grew up in. And it was very blighted, crime ridden. There was a lot going on, drugs. And he said to me, he says, I'm gonna change and bring this community back to become a thriving environment where women can walk down the street with their children, folks can sit on the stoop like they did when I was a young man. And I was so impressed by that I made that decision then. First of all, I already knew that I was strung out over him, okay?
Is that right? The first date?
Well, when I first met him, when I laid eyes on him the first time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that I saw him and I was like, oh, it's him. Here he is. But we were friends for about a year or so before we started dating. He was actually coming out of a marriage. He was married to a woman named Dee Dee Sharp, who did the mashed potato song and was a big superstar in the 60s and 70s. So yeah, no, but it was, for me, it was. And according to him, there was a similar, it's just like when you see your person,
you know when you know.
You know when you know, and we knew. But that particular date, when he drove me around and told me about his vision to use his success in the music industry and the money he derived from the community that he was making the music for, that he was going to redevelop the community that he grew up in and others if given the opportunity. And he has done exactly that. He has multiple charter schools under his company, Universal Companies. And now he and his current wife, Fatima, live around the corner from where he grew up in a house that they built in a community that has changed drastically. And so I'm very proud of him. We have 3 adult children. They share my pride in their father, because not only was he a great songwriter and producer and record mogul with Philadelphia International Records, but he He's a dedicated servant of the community and Black
The time
folks.
has come with the Latoya Foster Show.
June is Black Music Month. How in the world was Black Music Month born anyway? Well, Deanna's got the scoop coming up next. And let's talk about something that we still look forward to every year. And it's right around the corner because of you all and the vision that you had. We have a Black Music Month every year in June. African American Music Month, Black Music Month, whatever, whichever one you want to refer to.
Black Music Month.
Black Music Month.
That's how we refer to it as,
right.
as co-founders. I understand that when President Obama was in the White House, he changed it to African American Music Appreciation Month. It's even too much for me to say.
Right.
We, Gamble and I, still call it Black Music Month. And this was his idea. We were together at the time. I was very active in the Philadelphia chapter, which is where we were living at the time and still do live in Philly. So he had visited Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, and saw how organized and together the Country Music Association is. And he felt like there was a need for such a similar entity in the Black music industry. And he helped to found Black Music, BMA, the Black Music Association.
Okay.
And Latoya was everybody was in it. Stevie Wonder, Dionne Warwick, Bob Marley, Teddy Pendergrass, all the hot, big artists of the time, all the executives, the radio personalities, the retailers, educators, and everybody. There was a moment of excitement.
I can only imagine when you all put this in front of people and they were like, why didn't we think of this before?
Well, sometimes it takes somebody with courage and vision, and that's what Kenny Gamble possesses. And at the point that he established the Black Music Association.
Both of you, because you were there, you were
yeah, but again, it was his initial idea. I cannot take credit for it. Some have referred to me as the mother of Black Music Month.
That's right.
I'll take that.
Okay.
He's the daddy for sure.
Okay.
We are physical parents of human beings, but we're also parents of Black Music Month. But I give credit to the leader of my family, who still is the head of my family, who conceived of this idea and what is the purpose of it? I get asked this all the time. Why? Well, it's a defined period of time where we get to focus our energy and celebrate the contributions of people like your father, who worked in the music business, like yourself, that promote culture, and even the consumers who digest the music and the culture and everything that comes from it. Think about it, Latoya. Our music inspires language, fashion.
That's right.
They use Black music, and I say they, advertisers, Madison Avenue, to sell everything from detergent to vehicles and in between, food, you name it. Black music is at the forefront of our daily experiences, whether we recognize it or not, from the moment we wake up through the day and until we go to sleep. Amen. In the elevator, when you're going to your dentist appointment, you're hearing Black music. When you're in the supermarket shopping for your family or yourself, you are hearing Black music.
That's right.
Every soundtracks and films, TV shows, Black music everywhere. It deserves our respect. It deserves to be elevated, appreciated. And that's really where we're coming from. Plus, here's the fact that many people overlook, forget conveniently, the record companies don't. It is a multi-billion-dollar export around domestic United States, the globe. I have traveled to Europe, to Asia, South America, throughout the Caribbean, all over the United States. And what do I hear? Black music everywhere. I went to Japan. I produced a USO tour there. Black music everywhere.
Can you imagine having Rihanna or Michael Vick coming to you, hiring you to help them navigate through their careers? Well, that's Deanna's journey. Find out how she coaches the who's who in entertainment and sports, and why there's so much more to publicity than just social media.
in
Okay.
New York, and he was like, "I'll call you when I get to France tomorrow."
Okay.
Kanye, I'm still waiting for your call.
Oh Lord. Well,
But yes, Rihanna and some of the other
Kanye.
people. Yeah, Kanye, I'm still waiting on you to get back to me. But I've been coaching artists, high profile people for the last 27 years.
Wow.
And so I've had the opportunity to work with artists in all genres. I work with gospel artists, heavy metal, country artists. I work with the Zach Brown band. I worked with the Josh Abbott band,
Hmm.
all manner of artists and celebrities. I also have several clients who are actors
Okay.
and and athletes. I worked with Michael Vick when he came out of prison after serving a stint for 2 years. I coached Allen Iverson once when he was doing 106 in Park. So Roy Jones Jr., the heavyweight boxer, worked with him when he was doing music. So my clientele is quite diverse, but primarily focuses on music artists and mostly African American artists. But I worked with Jack Harlow recently, and he's doing real well. I'm very proud of him. Jordan Hollywood. I mean, just tons of artists, regardless to color. I work with everybody. You got a pulse and you're interested, I'll coach you.
I love it. I love it. And talk about the need for that because I hate to say it, but the younger generation oftentimes think that social media is all they need.
Yes.
Talk about the need for what you do and what other professionals such as you who provide that type of coaching and assistance to the who's who in entertainment and sports and media, why they still need that. Social media is great, but why you still need this type of education and someone to work with you in your branding and in your how you handle the media. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, excellent point, Latoya. Many young artists, a lot of my young artists are coming from TikTok. They're being signed by record labels from social media. And yes, while it's important and it is here and it is not going anywhere, there's still other components in the entertainment industry that one must consider when they are an artist or a public person going out to speak to people about their album, their film, their book, their podcast, whatever it is. And so what I do with my clients is we flesh out the talking points and best practices on how to share information with consumers about the basic tenets of journalism, as you well know: who, what, where, when, why, and how.
Yes.
And that's what I address when I'm working with my clients. I had a client recently who said to me, "I wish that I had had this a few years ago."
Mm,
Recently signed to a major deal, but he was like, "Oh my goodness, I wish I knew this. I wish I had this information." But you don't know what you don't know until you
that's
know.
right. That's right.
And
That's
so that's
right.
where I come in. And I want to acknowledge Barry Gordy's Motown and a woman named Mrs. Maxine Powell, who did artist development and human etiquette with most of the artists on the roster of Motown. And then after her was a woman by the name of Suzanne DePass, who
Yes.
worked with the Jackson Five and other groups. You know, she was like the new era of artist development.
Yeah.
So what I do is celebrity strategy and human development. Uh, that's my focus, is how to connect with other human beings
Mm.
in a compelling manner. That's the bottom line of what I do with my clients: how to connect and share
Mm.
who they are, what they do, when they're doing it, why they do it, how they do it, who do they
Yeah.
do it with. So we flesh that out, and I love it. I absolutely, it's an extension of me as a communicator.
Yes.
We discussed, I've been on the radio up until last year for over 40 something years, and that includes television. I did television concurrent to
Okay.
being on the radio as well. So print journalism, all of that. It was all about communications. And so, yes, I love the clients that I've worked with, the majority of them. There have been a few inept individuals in the
Mhm.
process
Right.
over the years, but more often than not, I have people who are grateful for the opportunity to help get greater clarity on how to express who they are and what they do.
I'm going to ask you this, Deanna. as you
Time
look
has
back
come with the
over your
Latoya
life.
Foster Show.
All right. Now, I know for a fact I'm talking to someone out there today. As a matter of fact, I am confident I'm speaking to multiple people out there today. How many of you right now, right at this moment, are trying to figure out how to balance work life, family life, marriage? Is that you? Or maybe this one fits you. How many of you are looking and searching for the yellow brick road to success and simply cannot find it? Or maybe this one fits you. How many of you have experienced so many setbacks that you just don't believe that success is in the equation for you? Well, I tell you what, Dyana is addressing all of that and more coming up next. But most importantly, what she is encouraging all of us to do, and I needed this myself, is to learn how to live out loud. Live out loud, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Success, because you are successful, Dyana. In your view, is success a choice or is it by chance? Does everyone have the exact same opportunity to be successful? Is it an equal level playing field? What's your thoughts?
I do believe that everybody has opportunities to achieve their dreams and goals. One of my major mantras is anything that the mind can conceive and believe, if you truly believe it, you can achieve it. That's how I've lived my life, and it's worked out for me and is still working out. I'm still alive. I'm still doing things that are achievements. I mean, I've been recognized in the White House. I have a Liberty Bell. I have all kind of awards and accolades. But at the end of the day, I have the regard of my mother and her love, my children, my children's father, you know, my man,
All right.
loves me. And I have a circle of friends that keep me lifted.
Yeah.
I told you that will criticize me when need be. And sometimes that criticism is right on point, and help me grow and help me just escalate even higher and elevate. And so I do believe that we all, because it's not an even playing field, that is not the case, especially for people of color.
That's right.
People of color do not have this, we almost have to work triple harder plus than perhaps people who are not of color. So it is not, but we cannot accept the limitations of those things, of racism, sexism, ageism. Like I said to you, I'm a proud, good and grown woman. I have women who say to me, especially in the music industry, they were like, well, why are you saying your age? Why are you talking about having a 44 or 45-year-old son? Well, first of all, I can't hide my children and I don't want to.
Right.
The thing is, I'm a good and grown woman. I am grown. I have fortunately lived long enough to see a great deal. And I continue to live and pray that God will allow me to experience what I have in my mind to do. Like my best friend and I are talking about next year, we're going to go take a trip around the world.
Love it. Oh, love it.
Let's go. Let's do that, because there's some places I have yet to experience. So life, Latoya, is for living. You have a choice whether to live it or to look at other people with envy and jealousy on social media and say, oh, they're doing this, and oh, they're doing that. No. And forget social media for a moment. Live your life out loud and do the things that you have in your mind to do for yourself. And don't let other people's negative opinions or, oh, you can't do that, or no, do as you please. Have something in your mind to do. You want to write a film? Write the film. YouTube is a repository of information. Study, use it, enroll. There are free classes, just like when I told you I was 15, 16. I enrolled in a free class in my community to learn how to play the flute with a great legendary jazz musician, Jimmy Heath. So I feel blessed. I am successful by my terms and definition of success. And I have room for improvement and growth. And
Mm.
that's where I am now. So I believe everybody can be. There's a great song that Teddy Pendergrass, that was written by my ex, Kenny Gamble, and his partner, Leon Huff. It was like, you can be anything you want to be free to be who we are.
Mm.
That's the name of the song, by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. So, and Teddy Pendergrass. So we are free to be who we are if we choose to be. And if we don't, shame on you, you're bad. Be your authentic self and live your blissful life, even with the adversities that we as human beings face every day.
Dyana, we could go on and on and on and on and on. That just means you have to come back. You just got to come back.
Can I shout out your childhood friend who is a former client
Yes,
and
my
one of my
girl.
dear friends, Robin Lyon,
Yes.
is the CEO and founder of balleralert.com, and
Oh
you
my
and I
God.
share her. And see, and having people come into your life that make a difference, like Robin's a perfect example.
Yes.
I met her some years ago. We worked together
Yep.
on some things, and we are family. She
That's
is part of my extended family. So meeting people, there are 8 billion people on this planet. How can we ever be bored? There's so many of us to explore. God put so much before us.
Yeah.
Trees, the wind, the sky, the clouds. The other day I was just admiring the wind moving through the leaves on the tree and the sky and the clouds. And I was like immersed in the experience of life,
That's
of
right.
living. So anyway, I just wanted to shout out. And thank you, Latoya, with your beautiful self. I'm
Thank you.
so honored to have this opportunity with you.
Dyana Williams has had one storied career. I met Dyana when I was 15 years old at the Jack the Rapper Music Convention in Atlanta, Georgia, and I never forgot her. She was phenomenal then, and she's phenomenal now. And she keeps her hand in phenomenal things. And I cannot wait to visit the National African American Music Museum in Nashville. I hope you all will join us as well. Dyana, much, much love to you. Thank you so much for coming here to This Is Your Moment. First time won't be the last. And another big shout out to my good girlfriend, Robin Lyon, for connecting Dyana and I after all of these years. Another phenomenal friend that I cannot wait to introduce you all to. We want to thank Kevin Adele and WADL for all of the great work that you do. We appreciate you. Thank you for this very moment. And for all of you who continue to support This Is Your Moment, we thank you from the bottoms of our heart. Please, please, please drop me a line, LatoyaFoster14 at gmail.com, LatoyaFoster14 at gmail.com. And if you'd like to contribute and support This Is Your Moment, drop us a line about that as well, and we will give you directions to do so. Until we meet again next week, stay prayed up. That's so important. Stay blessed, and we will see you again very, very soon. Take good care.